Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is approaching a massive bullish signal that we have not seen since the middle of last year. But this specific type of bullish signal has only happened 4 other times throughout Bitcoin's entire price history, which I'll be talking about in just a moment. But before we talk about that, what is the signal that we are looking at here? And well, that is a bullish cross in the weekly MACD, which we are currently approaching, but we have not seen the bullish cross just yet. So I want to make that clear. But simply based on the current trajectory of the histogram approaching 0 in roughly around 1 month from now, if nothing too crazy happens between now and 1 month, then it's very likely we're going to see a bullish cross in the weekly MACD within about 1 month, give or take. And like I just said, the last bullish cross that we saw in the weekly MACD indicator was back during the middle of last year, just as the Bitcoin price came out of this massive sideways consolidation range that we were in for around 2 months after a significant move to the downside. And then when we saw that bullish cross, we began a major reversal back to the upside. And so there's definitely some similarities between the current Bitcoin price and what we saw in the middle of last year. But one difference between this possible bullish cross and the bullish cross that we saw in the middle of last year is the fact that the MACD this time round is in negative territory, meaning that it is below the halfway point. Whereas if you're looking at the bullish cross in the middle of last year, that happened above 0 in the positive region. And when you zoom out even further on the weekly Bitcoin chart, you get to understand how rare these bullish crosses in the negative territory really are when you're talking about the weekly Bitcoin MACD. Just taking a look through Bitcoin's entire price history, the first ever bullish cross in the weekly MACD when the MACD was in negative territory was at the end of 2011, after we saw a lot of bearish price action throughout 2011. And then the very next bullish cross in the weekly MACD when the MACD was in negative territory happened in early 2015 after that 2014 bear market. And the third bullish cross in the weekly Bitcoin MACD when the MACD was in negative territory was at the end of the 2018 bear market when the bear market was bottoming out. And the fourth and final bullish cross in this weekly MACD indicator when the MACD was in negative territory happened during early 2020, just after that massive crash during March 2020. If you zoom all the way out on the weekly Bitcoin chart, taking a look at Bitcoin's entire price history ever since it began trading against the US dollar in 2010, like I just said, we have only ever seen 4 other bullish crosses in the weekly Bitcoin MACD when the MACD is in negative territory. And if you simply take a look at the charts for yourself, you can see that all 4 of those previous bullish crosses turned out to be generational buying opportunities. Seriously, some of the best possible buying opportunities in the Bitcoin price throughout its entire price history happened when we saw those bullish crosses in the weekly MACD when the MACD was in negative territory. Now, once again, I want to make it clear that we haven't yet seen the bullish cross in the weekly MACD just yet, but simply based on the current trajectory of the histogram moving towards 0, then if nothing too much happens over the next 1 month, it's very likely we're going to see that bullish cross within about a month from now, making this the 5th ever bullish cross in the weekly Bitcoin MACD when the MACD was in negative territory. And when you zoom in a little bit, taking a look at the Bollinger Bands indicator on the 3-day Bitcoin chart, we're still currently seeing a massive squeeze in these Bollinger Bands, which normally happens just before a massive move in the market. But obviously, because we're on the 3-day Bitcoin chart, each one of these candles is an entire day. So when I say just before a massive move in the market, that usually means as soon as a few days and up to around 1 month, is what we saw in July 2020, where the 3-day Bollinger Bands began squeezing at the end of June 2020, and we didn't see the volatile move in the Bitcoin price until the end of July, so around 1 month later. So basically, according to the 3-day Bollinger Bands indicator, sometime possibly within the next 1 month, give or take, we could be due for another massive move in the market, which perfectly coincides with that possible bullish cross that we are leading up to right now in the weekly Bitcoin MACD. And for those of you that have been keeping up with my Bitcoin update videos, you would already know about this right here. But basically, the 3-day Bitcoin RSI and the 3-day Bitcoin MACD are technically still trending to the upside in the bullish direction. And taking a look at the last couple of times that has happened, that usually signals some sort of trend reversal in the Bitcoin price. But even though we have a lot of bullish signals on the larger time frames, specifically in the price oscillators, it is still very important to understand that the Bitcoin price is still currently below a massive level of resistance coming into play at around 45 to 46,000. And as I've been saying for a while now on the channel, any bullish price action that we see below 45k is only shorter term bullish price action that normally lasts for around 1 to 2 weeks, give or take. So in order for Bitcoin to play out that much larger bullish move that we were possibly looking at on these larger timeframes, the Bitcoin price must break above that massive level of resistance at around 45 to 46,000 and really just break out of this entire price range that we've been in over the past 2 months. And if you're taking a quick look at the daily Bitcoin RSI, right now it's attempting a breakout to the upside, but it's still pretty much trading along resistance. Meanwhile, in the daily Bitcoin MACD, we're finally seeing some more bullish momentum kick in here, which is already lasting longer compared to this previous chunk of bullish momentum that we saw around 3 weeks ago. And technically speaking, that is a bullish signal, especially with the bearish momentum getting weaker and weaker. But as I just said, before we can expect any larger bullish move on the larger timeframes, we need to break out of this price range above 45 to 46k, which we haven't seen just yet. And if you zoom into the 12-hour Bitcoin chart, right now all 3 of these indicators are pointing in the bullish direction. So this shorter term trend in the Bitcoin price still remains a bullish trend, making higher lows and higher highs. And the shorter term Bitcoin trend can be more visible on smaller timeframes like this 4-hour Bitcoin chart. And you can see that over the past 1 to 2 days, the Bitcoin price has broken above this point of resistance, which was coming in at around 42,500 approximately. And then we saw the Bitcoin price drop briefly below 42,000 before bouncing back up again in the immediate short term. But this breakout so far hasn't had a lot of strength to it. But despite this relatively weak breakout so far, technically speaking, the shorter term trend is still an uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. So until the Bitcoin price starts breaking below this previous low, for example, coming in at around 40.5k, then Bitcoin in the shorter term is still looking pretty good here, relatively speaking. And just giving you a really quick update on the US stock market today, this right here is the S&P 500 index on the daily time frame, and at least at the time of recording this video, today so far has been a red day in the S&P 500 index. And this is a very much normal thing to see, especially after the massive run that we have seen over the past 1 week, give or take, because even during the bullish moves in the market, we still see some bearish price action here and there. So having a couple red days every now and again, even during a bullish move, is perfectly normal. But one important level of resistance to pay attention to is the golden pocket, which is coming in at around 45.30. And we have definitely seen a lot of confluence around that golden pocket within the last half a year or so, which is why that is definitely an important level of resistance to pay attention to moving forward. But anyway, if you got anything of value out of this video, please make sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. And before we click off, if you want to make more money in crypto, whether or not prices are going up or down, these 2 videos popping up right here on your screen are definitely for you. But anyway, that is it for this update. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.